Super Casey here, and you're listening to This Freakin' Show.
What's up, everybody? I am Travesty.
And I'm Cartoon Joe.
And welcome to another episode of This Freakin' Show. It is the weekly podcast with a little bit of something and a whole lot of nothing. The same weekly podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. If you're just like me and you love stories, you love learning about things, but you just don't like reading about things, Audible.com is the best place for you. And as a special gift from me and Cartoon Joe here at This Freakin' Show, if you go to audibletrial.com/freaknet right now, you get a 30-day free trial of Audible. That's right, a 30-day free trial. And on top of that 30-day free trial, you get a token, a little credit right there for your first book for free. So a 30-day free trial, a free book for you just by going to audibletrial.com/freaknet today.
This Freakin' Show is also brought to you by WeAreAdvertise.com. If you want to look fancy while listening to your new audiobook, head on over to WeAreAdvertise.com where you can pick up a high-quality knit tie for the low price of just $15. Be sure to use the special discount code FREAKIN, that's FREAKIN, to get free shipping on your order. That's right, a high-quality knit tie for just $15 and free shipping using the special discount code FREAKIN, that's FREAKIN, at WeAreAdvertise.com. Head on over, get yourself a fly-as-hell tie today.
A fly as hell tie. I like that, Joe. I think that's new. I don't think you've ever used that expression before when talking about WeAreAdvertise.com.
No. I don't think I've ever used that expression before, period.
Right. It just goes to show. It just goes to show how great those ties are at WeAreAdvertise.com.
That's true.
Right?
They make you try new things.
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, we are just 2 weeks. That's right, just 2 weeks, 14 days away from the season finale of This Freakin' Show. That's right, season 3 is coming to an end here in just a short couple weeks. I'm super excited about it. I'm sure Cartoon Joe is super excited about it. And what I am. Right? And what I'm really excited about is because season 4, as long as everything works out, of course, I don't want to sit there and, say it's going to happen because, we really don't know. But season 4 should bring a couple new things to the show that I'm really excited about. And they're in the works. They're going to happen. I'm just hoping they get done within the next 2 to 3 weeks here. So once season 4 comes through, then all these great and awesome new things that we're going to be doing are going to be right there for you, as well as we're kicking off season 4 with our month-long salute to Halloween known as This Freaky Show, which should be the return of the Freak Joe. So I'm super excited about that. Haven't talked to him in a while. We didn't have a Freaky Show last year.
That's true. I'm sure he's itching to get back on.
Right. I'm sure he's gonna be well rested and ready to go. Because as far as I know, he does hibernate about 48 weeks out of the year.
That's true.
Right.
That's true. And he's been in his hibernated state for almost a year, 2 years now, though.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I mean, like when you think of Freak Joe and his hibernation, he's gotta be doing it upside down like a bat, right? It's gotta be.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Almost cocoon-like, maybe like a caterpillar.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, he dissolves into goo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I like
just
that.
like a cocoon.
Right? He is quite the guy. He is quite the guy. And plus all the amazing stories that he shares and everything with us on a weekly basis during our month-long salute to Halloween, which I do believe Halloween this year is or October itself has 5 weeks in it. So there's an extra freaky show with the Freak Show happening.
There is.
Right. So I'm super excited for that. But guys, one of the biggest things I'm really excited for the season finale is that we're opening up the podcast, the episode, to you, the listeners. And as we mentioned over the last few weeks, if you go to our Facebook page of This Freakin' Show and go to the pinned post at the top, it gives you an opportunity to ask us any question that you would want to ask us. And it can be about anything. Some of personal shit like social security numbers and addresses and stuff like that. Because let's face it, don't be that weirdo. But
I mean, truth be told, if you
yeah,
want to ask those questions, you can. I'm going to lie to you.
right, right. I mean, I'll answer it right now. You want my social security number? 123, I think 45, maybe 6789. I think that's about right. Um,
That's right.
it's pretty accurate, right? Right. What's my address? 123 Fake Street. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
But no, if you guys want to ask us any questions, and it could be like what our personal preferences on something as far as like movies and music, comics, action like movies, stuff like that. Just random stuff that you kind of want to know more about us because I mean, yeah, we've been around for we're going on 4 years right now. So enough about us, but you don't really know everything about us because we don't talk about like everything. We haven't gotten to everything yet, honestly. But ask us whatever you want. And not only that, on top of like asking our opinion or what our preferences on stuff, but you can also ask us like if you need like a curious question on something, like you have a marriage advice, you need marriage advice question or a relationship advice question, or you know you have an like you know something's going on in your life, but you don't know what you should do. Ask us. We'll give you an opinion on it. Now, I'm not saying you should go and do it, but we'll definitely give you our opinion on it. And that's what this Q&A ask us anything is all about. We've gotten a few questions commented on the post itself, but we also opened it up to you guys messaging us personally for anonymous questions, which I have received some anonymous questions from the listeners, message to me personally, which is totally fine, and I'm happy that it happened. I haven't looked at them yet because it wouldn't be fair for me to know the questions before Cartoon Joe knew the questions, and I'd like it to be more of a surprise, like a hey, here's a question, how would you answer it? And I'd rather get the instant answer right there instead of like a ponder thought kind of question. So I think it'd be a little more fun to do it that way. So to you guys who asked the questions and everything, even those who did the comments a few weeks ago, the reason the questions haven't been answered yet is because we're not at the season finale yet. So they are coming up 2 weeks. Super excited. Make sure you get involved and leave us a question and say, hey, Cartoon Joe, hey, Travesty, here's a question. What's your favorite this? What should I do about that? Do you think maybe I should do this? And that's what we're looking for when it comes to the season finale. So I think I explained that pretty well.
Yeah, I think that's really well explained.
Yeah. Joe, it's been 2 weeks since we talked. We took a break last week. Not so much because of any reason other than I slept through Tuesday. So and totally forgot about it. So that's on me. Yeah, no, it was totally on me.
All good.
I got home from work and I'm like, okay, we got the podcast, we recorded at a certain time and everything. And I'm like, I'm gonna take a quick nap. I'm gonna nap skis here and everything. And I just slept until Wednesday. It was nuts. And I was like, man.
Hey.
And I was like, I was like, we're just gonna take a break this week. We'll be okay. We got it's nice to take a break like that and everything. And I'm sure all of our listeners were kind of concerned on what happened because the week previous we had our conspiracy theory episode, and we all know what happened the last time we tried to do a conspiracy theory episode. So they're probably under the assumption that maybe something happened, like, oh my god, what happened to this freaking show? Did they do the conspiracy theory show and all of a sudden poof, Nessie showed up? Maybe, but no, it wasn't anything like that. It was just I slept. It was a long week, which we're actually gonna get into the weekend and what my long week was consisted of. But Cartoon Joe, I'm going to give you an option on how we progress through the topics because pretty much we're going to take this show to kind of follow up on what we've been doing for the last couple of weeks. I think it's
All
nice
right.
for with the whole Q&A thing going on and people learning stuff about us. I think it's maybe they're interested in knowing what we do on our time off when we're not podcasting. So we're going to talk about what we've been doing for the last couple of weeks because I've had a lot of things happen. A lot of things have happened recently too, not just to me, but in the United States as well. But
that is true.
So I'm gonna give you the option. Do you want us to progress from great to shitty, or from shitty to great? How do you want to start, and how do you want to end?
Let's. This is really hard for me.
Right?
I'm gonna say shitty to great. That way it can only get better.
Shitty to great. Okay. So the first thing I want to start off is something that didn't happen to me personally, but it's happening all across the lower southeast coast of United States, and that is the Hurricane Dorian that's been hitting over the past couple of days through the Bahamas. Category 5 hurricane just destroyed the Bahamas and is currently, I believe, on the coast of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I was down in North Carolina and South Carolina this past weekend, and that's going to be in the high note part of my what I've been up to. But we were down there, and we spent a vast majority of the weekend. I mean, obviously we went out did stuff, but we spent a lot of the time like, in the hotel room, like watching and monitoring the hurricane because you do know our sister does live down in North Carolina currently, and it was just this big worry,
Right.
like what she's gonna do, how if she's gonna stay down there and everything. So the Bahamas definitely got hit. Luckily, they did plan the evacuation ahead of time to get as many people out as possible, but a lot of damage hit through the Bahamas. It did hit Florida. I believe it dropped from a 4 to a 3 by then. I believe it's at category 2 right now. Slowly moving up. There is a state of emergency in Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, stuff like that. But I did want to mention that obviously all these horrific things happening and all that. Um, there is a way people could help out. So if you guys out there feel the need to help out, especially the damage that was caused in the Bahamas, obviously I believe the Red Cross is one of the biggest donation places you can go to contribute if you want. Salvation Armies and stuff down there and everything. So if you want to donate, if you want to help out and everything, especially during this Hurricane Dorian that's been hitting, that is still going on. I believe it's supposed to hit the Carolinas by Thursday evening, and actually, I believe Virginia is also in a state of emergency as well because it's supposed to go all the way up the coast. So, a little public service announcement from this freaking show. If you guys are looking to help out any way you can to the people who have suffered loss because of the hurricane, or who will continue to suffer the loss through the hurricanes if it doesn't die down as it progresses, definitely I would say check out the Red Cross. Joe, I don't know if you would know of any other places that may be more of a donation kind of thing for hurricane relief.
Um, I don't off the top of my head.
I know
I
the Red Cross is the
will.
biggest one.
Yeah, yeah. There are other ones that are actually better, but I don't know them off the top of my head. Because the Red Cross has a lot of administrative fees that it has to pay, so it
I'll do
takes
that.
a certain portion of your donation. Yeah. Um, um, I'll find them. I'll send them to you for the show notes.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Send them over to me because I mean, you actually do a lot more, and this may make me sound like a shitty person, but you do a lot more for relief fundraising and stuff like that. More helping people than I do, and that's more in your nature. I mean, you're
I,
definitely a giver, and you sympathize and care for a lot of people. And I think that falls up. I think that kind of falls in your job description nowadays too,
that's fair. Yeah.
right?
At
But
the
you, I
very
mean,
least, helping direct people. Yeah.
yeah, but you do I do believe like I'm not saying that like you do it every day, but you do when you can. You go out of your way to help people. So you definitely have a lot more knowledge on charities and stuff like that that we could access more than I will. And that might be a bad person. I'll take the fault on that. That's on me. But I believe I did my part by mentioning it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think so. I think, at the very least, here's the thing. Even if you do give to the Red Cross, a certain portion of the money is going to go to help people.
Yeah.
There are just better organizations out there. That
Mhm.
doesn't mean that the Red Cross is the worst by any means. There are other organizations you absolutely should not donate to. Random GoFundMe's for people you don't know. Probably stay away from those because some
Yeah.
people will take advantage of people.
Right.
But, at the very least, with the Red Cross, you're getting somebody that is a qualified charity.
Absolutely.
So even though 100% of your donation might not make it to the victims, a certain portion will. So that shouldn't discourage you from giving. Just do your research and try to find something more local if you can. That would be my main advice.
Yeah, stay away from anything named Firefest. I hear that's bad too.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that an old joke?
Yes.
Is that joke too old to make?
Took a second to.
Right?
I don't know.
Oh god. Oh, see, other sad things. The shooting down in Texas happened over the weekend as well. I did hear on the news about that. Man in his 30s. I'm not gonna say his name because he doesn't deserve any kind of notoriety whatsoever. But
Oh, I haven't even heard his name, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah. If you guys haven't heard, down in Texas, a guy got pulled over for a traffic stop, ended up shooting a cop, and then went on this rampage shooting people down the highway between two towns. I believe he ended up injuring 21 people. I believe five died. Ultimately, they did take him down. So that was definitely something that happened over the weekend, and it's another, oh God, what's the term I'm looking for? Frivolous. It's not frivolous. What's the fucking what the hell is the term I'm looking for?
Senseless.
Yes, a senseless act. Another senseless act that shouldn't happen. So thoughts and prayers out to everyone who were affected by that incident and everything. Again, if you guys haven't heard about it, which I'm sure if you guys watch the news, you have. You check out the information on it. Again, I'm not going to give the guy's name because he doesn't deserve his name to be spoken out there. I believe a couple of the officers and everything even said that in their speeches, as well as I believe the governor of Texas mentioned that like his name shouldn't be put out there. They did give the name out because I believe that's part of the process, but it's not being like thrown up in lights and shit because people who do that don't deserve the fucking notoriety because I think a lot of times outside maybe mental illness that may cause that. I think a lot of people just want the notoriety and everything. So fuck that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Word.
Yeah. So enough about the tragedies of the country and everything. But Joe, before I continue with my stuff, is there anything you want to share about what you've been up to? You just want me to keep going, or do you feel do you feel something has happened to you? Because I do want to stick with the shitty to great. Do you believe anything has happened to you where we're right about this level, or do you want me to keep going until you find like that perfect spot?
Yeah, there really hasn't been anything that shitty to me that has happened. I will say like we're it's been a year, so we're several levels above as shitty as this weekend was for some people. But this last weekend did pass 1 year from Papa Wayne dying.
Yes.
Um, so
Yes.
I had myself 2 poached eggs and toast for breakfast to
Mhm.
honor him. And that's actually what I did last Tuesday was remember last year the week. It was such a honestly, and this isn't shitty. I think it was shittier for him than it was for the rest of us. But I was thinking last Tuesday a lot about the week that we spent while he was in hospice care, and
Yeah.
all things considered, what really a beautiful time that was.
Mhm.
And it's sort of just pouring out of me now because I was thinking about it all week. I wanted to put something on Facebook but couldn't quite find the words. But
It's hard, right?
yeah, just
Hmm.
I there growing up, our family has always been pretty close. I think,
Hmm.
but
Oh yeah.
there was a lot of stuff that I didn't know about my dad. I didn't know about my aunt and uncles. I
Hmm.
didn't know about anybody. I talked more with my uncle Wayne that week than I have ever talked to him in my life. You know,
Yeah.
and it was just all things considered, what a beautiful sacred time it was. And just it's still I'm still going through the grief process. I don't know about anybody else. Um, it still hurts, but not as bad.
Yeah.
Um, but that's what I was thinking about last Tuesday while we weren't podcasting. I was thinking about that week, and I was having myself some wine, and just thinking about it, just meditating on what a beautiful, sad but bittersweet week that was. And I think one of the things that makes me most sad about it is it seems like as soon as the week ended, we all scattered. And it feels like I haven't seen everybody all together again, except for briefly at the memorial service. You know.
No, yeah, and I agree with you on everything you just said because it was one of the things where not a lot of people get an opportunity to say goodbye to people.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times when passings happen, they're almost like instantaneous. They're quick. They happen right away. Whatever term you want to use. You never get to really say goodbye. And when my mom and Carl were talking about, me and Ashley going down and, saying goodbye to Grandpa or seeing him at least one more time, I almost didn't want to go because it's like one of those things where you want to remember like the guy for who he was and not what the illness was doing to him. So it's like
sure.
it's like one of the things, like, it's like because I've never had the opportunity to say goodbye to somebody who wasn't already passed and in the coffin at like a wake or something like that. So it was a whole new different experience for me to actually sit there and talk to a guy who you were literally told like moments, before, that he probably won't be here, by next week and stuff like that.
Right.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but the weirdest thing was, like, like as soon as I walked into that room and I sat there with him and started talking, like none of that ran through my mind. Like
No.
I like I
He
mean, go ahead.
he was as much himself that week as I
Mhm.
think he's ever been, despite not being able to do very much for himself.
Yeah, and the weirdest thing was, like, a lot of people said, like, like he was kind of like, out of it, he wasn't really like, all there and everything, but it was crazy how he was bringing up these stories, and some stories that I didn't think meant anything to him other than like things just happened. Like remembering that I stopped over like after college a couple of times, coming home from JJC, just stopping over in Oak Forest, and he remembers like, me, stopping over and them making me dinner, helping put the roof
Mm-hmm.
on the Masons Lodge when we were all there for New Year's. Like all these things he was bringing up like for like over the last decade, and I was like, for saying that he's not all there, like he's remembering a lot of shit, but it meant a lot to me
Mm-hmm.
because for him to remember those things, it had to mean something to him, and I thought that was pretty cool too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're right. It was kind of one of those things. Like, and I mean, you were out there for days, and stuff. I was only out there for a few hours. So what's up?
No, nothing. I was just gonna say, yeah, I was there the whole week.
Yeah. But no, it's like you said. I mean, like as soon as he passed and everything, like it seems like next day, like everything had to go back to normal. And I do spend a lot of time like at like wakes and funerals, talking to people that I haven't seen in months, years, or whatever it is. And it's and I tell them the same thing. And I don't know why I do it, but it's just been like a habit that I've had of telling people like, well, we need to get together more times than when somebody passes. But it just never really seems
Mm-hmm.
to happen. Um, but it with the way life is and how everyone's busy, with families and work and everything, like it sucks that the only time you can get together is during like moments like that. But it's kind of moments like that to where you really do need to be together, and you kind of like do that rejoice remembrance and everything. And like when you are together, you're together. It's not like like you walk in, shake the guy's hand, shake up, your family member's hand, like, hey, how you doing? Look in the coffin, say goodbye, and walk out. When it comes to your family, people are there for each other, and that's a really cool fucking thing. Because I made families that are
Mm-hmm.
like yours who are as close as you guys are. But yeah, no, we talked about that a little bit on the trip and everything about because obviously when you post things on Facebook, they do like the anniversary on this day of and stuff like that, and that stuff
Mm-hmm.
that stuff popped up, and there's a lot of good memories, and I'm glad that we got a chance to catch up with everyone again, like when we did the ceremony, which we did do it
Mm-hmm.
quite some time after his passing. We were able to do it at the cemetery for the veterans and everything, so that was really cool too. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no, I agree. Like
Absolutely.
I didn't even think about bringing that up on the show, but I'm glad you did because I think it's something we do have to talk about. Just because it's a way to keep their memory alive. So
For sure. Well, and it's been the thing that other than my good news, it's the thing I've been thinking about the most this week. So I thought I'd share it. And I don't know. It just, there were a couple of moments last week where I really felt like I was channeling him. I can do his voice pretty well,
Mhm.
and there were a couple of times driving, talking to myself where I was kind of just thinking through the memories and remembering, the things he was fixated on that week, the 8 things that he could do, uh, from this position, I can reach this ear and this ear, and I can wipe my eye, and I can get the top of my head. And if you put a spoon in my hand, I can eat a little bit of ice just by myself. Just that kind
Yeah.
of shit. And it was just so, I don't know, just so sacred is the only word I have for it. It was sacred. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was just sacred. I don't know. I love it. So
Yeah, I
anyway,
think I
sorry.
think no, you're fine. I think one of my coolest memories is when I was 15, I was doing my driver permit thing and everything. And like I'm assuming the driving process in Indiana was the same as here in Illinois when you had to go through it. Did you do driver's ed through high school?
No, we had a local driving school.
Okay. Did you have to get like X amount of hours of behind the wheel and stuff in order to get your license? Like you fill out forms.
Yeah.
So I remember when I was doing
Well,
that.
we didn't have to fill out any form. We just lied about it and they accepted it.
Perfect, because that's where I'm definitely going with this story. So I remember sitting down, and it was the day before my birthday. It was May 25th. May 26th is my birthday, guys. If you feel like sending me a gift, let me know. I'll tell you where to send it. But anyways, so May 25th, I'm sitting down at the table, me, Carl, Grandma, and Grandpa Sneddon. And I was telling him, I can't remember how many hours it was, but I was way below it. Like, I think I had like maybe I let's say it was 48 hours. I may have had like 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, like, I know I drove more than that. I just never really logged it, And
Right.
I remember sitting down with Mom and Carl trying to remember all the times I was driving and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, I'm short like 10 hours or whatever it is. And I remember Grandpa Wayne telling me, he's like, well, why don't you mark down the hours you drove me to dialysis and everything. And I remember Grandma looking at him. I was like, Wayne, Travis never drove you to dialysis. And Grandpa's like, yeah, but they don't know that. So it was pretty cool. It was a small little memory, but it was a really cool one. But
Mm-hmm.
there are so many other memories and stuff like that happened. Maybe next season, maybe we'll do a Papa Wayne show.
Sure.
Maybe we'll have some family members come on and tell some Papa Wayne stories, maybe around his birthday or something.
I'm about it. Yeah, that sounds
Well,
good.
yeah, if you want to make that note, because I may forget, but if you want to note that down, we'll see if we can make that happen. Maybe get Paul, Kirk, and Carl. Maybe we'll do some like recording stories and stuff like that. I think that would be pretty cool to do.
Sure.
All right, next bad thing. Joe, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You're driving on the highway, right? Let's say you're driving on 294, going about 70 miles an hour.
Okay.
Okay, there's a part of a broken semi tire sitting in the middle of the road. What do you do?
Oh Lord. I slow down and try to go around it.
Okay, well, let me tell you what this dipshit did instead.
All right.
So I'm driving home from work, and I'm going down the highway, 294, and I'm going about 60, 65 miles an hour. And I'm thinking, like, it's a good fucking day. I believe it was Thursday, maybe this happened.
Oh,
I'm
what a
going on the
beautiful
fucking
day
road.
Thursday was.
It was a great fucking Thursday because I was getting ready to pack to go for my trip. I'm like, I'm gonna get home. I'm making perfect timing. This is incredible. And there's this fucking car in front of me, and it was a Chevy Cavalier. And I remember because Derek drove a Chevy Cavalier. So I'm driving. The Chevy Cavalier is in front of me, and I know he wants to get over. And it's not because he had a signal on, because I don't think this car had a fucking turn signal on it. But he kept trying to merge over. And while he was trying to merge over, he was trying to get the person that he was trying to get in front of to kind of like break off and like kind of skip back, coast back a little. So by the time he was ready to fucking do it, he drove over this part of his broken semi truck tire.
Oh my
And
god.
when
And it's as tall as the frickin' clearance on a Cavalier.
it was so fucked up because the thing is, it sucked right underneath his fucking car,
Uh-huh.
shot back at my truck, underneath it, wrapped around my running board, and ripped it off.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I didn't know what it did until so after like I saw the tire like strike my car. I heard the thud, and all of a sudden I started hearing something bouncing off of the highway. I just started hearing this dunk, 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 dunk. I didn't know what the fuck it
Sure.
was. I thought it was my bumper. Like, cause
Oh jeez.
so I keep hearing this thud. I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I pull off onto the side of the highway, which, by the way, 294, not the best place to pull off on the fucking highway.
No, no, not at all.
Because nobody has the common decency to merge over and stay away, especially fucking semis. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I get out of the car, check it for traffic, make sure no one's come by. I open the door, go to step down onto my running board, and it's not fucking there. I'm like, what the fuck? So what happened was it smacked my running board. It ripped the bolts out of the front two brackets, and it was just hanging on
Oh,
by the
oh,
two bolts in the back bracket.
oh,
So
jeez.
so I'm sitting there pissed. I'm trying to find a wrench or something in my truck that I can, take it off with and everything. I couldn't find a wrench to fit. I was getting so pissed. I literally just ripped it off the fucking bracket. Popped right off too. So it was one of those things.
Yikes.
I think if I was driving down the road, like maybe another quarter mile or something, without thinking about it, it probably would have bounced off and probably got caused an accident, which I definitely was trying to avoid by getting off on the side of the road.
No kidding.
But the one thing that sucked, and like I hated the guy for it, and I posted on my Snapchat that I hope he gets kicked in the genitals for what he did. But I think in all reality, he has no
Seems
idea
fair.
what he did. It does, right? I mean, like, first off, okay, with to give him the benefit of the doubt, he has no idea. I'm sure he has no idea he ripped my running board off. But at the same time, he drove like a piece of shit. He ran over a tire, which logic says you go around the fucking tire. That's what they all tell you to do. So now I have a truck that has a running board on the passenger side. I don't have one on my driver's side now. Which is, I guess it sucks because it happened, and especially now because travesty is broke as a joke. So that running board ain't gonna get fixed anytime soon. But at least it wasn't the passenger side, because my grandma is short as fuck, and she definitely needs help getting on the truck. Plus, I've been hanging out with this girl lately who is also on the shorter end. On the shorter end, yeah. Cute girl, very awesome. I'm gonna tell you about her later. Actually, she listens to the show. So if you're listening to this episode, hey, what's up? You know what I'm talking about. So it's not a bad thing. So that way they're able to still get in the truck and everything. I'm gonna see if I can try to get it fixed. I'm assuming if the bolts got ripped out of the truck, it's probably, or the bolts got ripped out of the running board, it's probably not good anymore. But yeah, that's how my fucking Thursday was. Not a fan.
No kidding.
Yeah. But on the bright side, that was the last down thing that happened, because I am ready to talk about the greatest thing that happened. But Joe, you want to share your great thing first, or?
Yeah, sure. So, last Christmas for a stocking stuffer,
yes,
Maddie got me a cat collar and 2 cat toys as sort of a, hey, we're going to get cats eventually present.
Nice.
Yeah, because we would love to have a dog. We are not home often enough to have a dog. It wouldn't be fair to the dog.
Friendly though,
Not a what?
They're not really apartment friendly, depending on the kind of dog. You don't want to get a Chihuahua. Those things are aggressive as fuck.
No. I tell you, I have come around lately on the French Bulldog.
Yeah.
They're so ugly cute. I hate them so much. And they're great, from what I understand, great apartment dogs because they get tired easy, which is really good. You really want that in an apartment dog. Because you don't want a dog with too much energy living in an apartment. That's all.
Yeah,
but even so,
in an apartment, fuck.
No, he would lose his. He'd jump off my balcony. I think just like because he's a dipshit. And he'd probably be fine, but we'd all freak out. But yeah, love you, Coops. Yeah, so we got cats, and that's what we did. We finally this weekend. The last few weekends we've been getting the stuff, the litter boxes, the cat toys, the cat beds, that kind of stuff. And we went to the shelter on Saturday, and we sat with some cats, and we decided we wanted 2 so they could keep each other company.
Yep.
And we decided we wanted a pair that was already bonded, so that we wouldn't have to deal with 2 cats getting to know each other in a small space.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got 2 brothers, orange domestic short hairs, very adorable, very sweet. I've never really had cats before. I mean, we had Sassy, but I only lived there like 2 weekends a month maximum. And we had a cat until I was, I think, 6 or 7 years old growing up. But I've never had more than 1 cat. And the cats I have had have either been really old or mean bastards. Looking at you, Sassy. I hope you're rotting in cat hell.
Such an aggressive.
Just kidding.
She was such a slut.
She really was. God. She really was.
So these cats, are they kittens?
They are cats. They are. The shelter thinks they're 8 years old.
Okay.
They look almost identical, and they came in together, so they think that they're probably brothers and litter mates. Okay. And they're adorable. We've named them. The shelter gave them like temporary names just to give them something to call.
Yeah.
They were at the shelter. They were Tiggers and Simba, and we thought those were just about the stupidest names we've ever heard.
Wait, Tigger's
So
like with an S at the end?
yeah, with an S on the end.
So like triggers, but without the R, or Tigger with an S?
100%.
Wow. Oh,
Yep.
fucking. Oh.
Yep.
What-
So
what cat?
all I can think about is how growing up, Michael, our younger brother, couldn't pronounce T's. He pronounced T's at the beginning of words as N's, and
Oh, there we go.
his favorite Winnie the Pooh character was a certain bouncing tiger. Um,
Oh my god, man.
no kidding. Yeah. So that's all I can think about with the name Tiggers is like I can't call a cat that.
No,
Can't do it. Won't do it. So we renamed them Butternut and George.
Really?
Yep.
You know, it surprised me because I thought you'd go for more like comic type, or maybe it comes sound like a philosopher, like a nice pun name for the cat.
Mm-hmm. Well, we thought about we spent about 2 days thinking about it.
Yeah.
And we went through like cheddar and Gouda because they're kind of cheese colored.
Mm.
You know, we thought about Fred and George, which one of them did end up being George, but like the Weasley twins from Harry Potter.
Yeah, that would have been good. Yeah.
Yeah, we thought about what else did we come up with? One of them has a black collar and one of them has a blue collar, so we were going to call them maybe this was one of the worst ones, but Blackie and Bluey, and they'd be the Bruise brothers. You know, just terrible things you think about for cat.
Yeah, no, I got you. I got you. I think.
And then the last pair we came up was Acorn and Butternut, and so we ended up with Butternut and George. But anyway,
I like it. I think you end up with some good names. I like that.
Yeah, well, and the nice thing is the thing that I'm really impressed by is we've had them for less than a week, and they already answer to the new names. Like if I call out for George, he comes running. You know, it cracks me up.
Yeah.
So they're very well-adjusted cats, very sweet, very affectionate, well behaved. So
they sound like a sit in your lap while sitting in front of a fireplace in a robe, swirling a brandy kind of cat.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly how they are. Butternut and I took a nap in the recliner earlier today.
Do they have their front claws still?
They do. Yeah, we're not going to declaw them. We're just going to keep their claws clipped. But
yeah, I know Sherry's very adamant on. Is it adamant? How do you pronounce that word? Adamant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's very adamant on never declawing a cat because it's literally just ripping the nail and stuff out of the cat.
Yeah, it's like cutting their first knuckles off.
Yeah, which I never knew the process of declawing a cat. I got Sassy.
Mm-hmm.
Did I declaw Sassy?
I don't know.
I don't think I did.
I don't think you did either, because I'm pretty sure I've been scratched by her.
I believe it. Yeah. Well, she was a slut.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was pregnant a lot.
Yeah, she really didn't like me at all.
Right. She was like Octomom, but with more than one dad.
She was like oh man, this is bad. She was like Octomom meets Casey Anthony.
Oh God, that's
on a scale of bad moms who have too many kids.
That's a show
number one.
Bro. That is an episode title right there. Octomom. Oh shit. Perfect. I get confused on that one.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh God.
Oh.
So me and Mom went down to visit Ashley for the weekend. We went down to Carolina. Ashley didn't know I was going. It was a huge surprise, which was really cool.
Nice.
First time I ever been in the ocean. I guess I've seen the ocean. I've never been in it though.
Mm-hmm.
Very salty.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely fucking salty. Like I mean, I know people saying like, "Oh, it's salt water and shit like that." I never realized that like truly it tastes like Morton salt.
It does.
Like it's very unpleasant, surprising to me because I was like, I thought like when people said salt water, it was gonna be a very vile taste. Literally salt, fucking salt. Burned the shit out of myself. I was on the beach for 2 fucking days, and I gotta tell you, I'm not a beach guy, and And beyond the fact that, like the sand fucking gets everywhere, I don't want to have to lay there in my swim trunks on the beach enjoying the sun just to have fucking PETA surround me with a fucking tarp, restraining me back into the water because they need to save the fucking whales. Biggest fear of my life.
Oh,
But it was
reasonable. No, I
right,
mean, like, not. That wasn't a dig at you. That was a dig at PETA.
right, fucking PETA. It's like, you need to help this guy. I was like, oh fuck that. But we went to the beach out in North Carolina first because Ashley obviously lives in North Carolina, but our whole goal was to get down to South Myrtle Beach in South Carolina. But me and my mom flew in. We got in around midnight Friday night, Saturday morning. Had to take the 2-hour drive to Ashley's apartment. We stayed there. I think we ended up going to bed at like 4 in the morning finally.
Oh,
Got up
wow.
at 8, went to the beach, hung out there, ended up down in North Myrtle Beach, and we checked into the hotel. Um, the beach was fine. It was a really nice, I mean, the waves were really cool and everything. It was nice to kind of like see the ocean. I have a big fear of open water and shit like that, but to actually do it was kind of a fun experience. No matter what, I always had this weird fear that a fucking shark was gonna swim by me. But it didn't deter me from it. I picked up a couple shells that we ended up leaving with Ashley, so those are gone. Went out to eat at this seafood place called Boardwalk Billy's. It was a really cool fucking place. So if you guys are down in Carolina, up in the North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina area, check out Boardwalk Billy's. Not a sponsor unless they want to be. Good fucking food. They got sushi and lobster, sushi, crab. I had a tuna steak for the first time in my life. It was very delicious.
Oh,
So
nice.
good. The next day, we ended up going to the beach down in South Carolina at North Myrtle Beach. Waves were extremely choppy because obviously we're heading south as the hurricane's heading fucking north. So the waves started to hit, and it was kind of weird because the entire beach was pretty much it was flooding. It wasn't completely flooded, but it was flooding. Like the waves would come up, pull the water all the way through the beach, and then go back into the ocean. So you really couldn't set anything down. But there was this little lip in the back of the beach where it was still dry. So we went there. We didn't spend a lot of time in the water. People couldn't really go farther than like 12, 15 feet off of the beach line, the coastline right there. Before they got whistled, they had to come back because the waves are so fucking huge, pulling everything out. I had to explain to Ashley what fucking erosion was.
Mm.
So I felt smart there for a minute. And then we went shopping. Mom bought me a pair of Crocs because apparently you can't live life without Crocs. So I got a pair of Crocs now.
Are they as comfortable as everyone says?
You know what? I put them on as we drove from North Myrtle Beach to Raleigh because, well, we got a hotel on the last night that was 15 minutes from the airport because North Myrtle Beach was 2 hours from the airport, and we didn't want to take the 2 hour drive because our flight was at 5 in the morning.
For sure.
We didn't want to wake up at like 2 in the morning to get to the airport by 4 to get on the plane. So we went to Raleigh on. I just got back this morning, so we went yesterday. Um, I wore the Crocs in that 2 hour trip. It felt like I was barefoot. I gotta
Nice.
say, I like my Crocs. I rock the Croc. I love it.
Nice.
Now I'll never wear them again outside the house. Mom,
Mm-hmm.
because believe what mom said, because mom got them because there was a sale and everything, and it was like a buy one get one half off and all this shit. So she bought them. She's like, you use them as like house shoes and stuff like that. So now I'll slip them on to go get the mail or if I want to have a smoke on the back deck and stuff like that. But they are fucking comfortable. But I got flip flops and stuff when I go to the beach or swim by the pool and stuff like that. Uh,
Nice.
but it was a really cool trip. Towards the end and everything, mom was getting worried about, what Ashley's gonna do with the hurricane and that because she does live pretty close to the coast in North Carolina. So
Right.
she went to work today after she dropped us off at the airport. I think she's gonna make a determination. She may be back soon to kind of like stay away from it. But if she's not, she's gonna be here in a couple weeks for my cousin's wedding and everything. So I get to see her again. But she was really excited to see me. It was nice to kind of see her apartment and how she's living life down in Carolina and like really grown up and mature. And I think she's doing good for herself.
Oh, good. Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah. I do have one more thing, but I'm gonna use that for my freaking thinking. So Joe, you have anything else that's happened over the last couple of weeks that you want to share or talk about?
No.
No? Cool.
No,
Then
no. It was been a really uneventful.
nice. Well, why don't you go ahead and tell me what you're freaking thinking?
I am obviously mostly freaking thinking about my cats, but
Mhm.
also the Dark Crystal. Growing up, Jim Henson's The Dark Crystal was one of my favorite movies. It was one of the first movies I ever watched that really scared me, and I think it might be one of the reasons I like horror so much now.
Yeah.
And as a side note to that, I'm really excited for It Chapter 2, which comes out this week. Might be going to see that at some
Oh,
point.
there you go.
Yeah. But the Netflix somehow got the rights to make a Dark Crystal series, and I've been watching that, and it's pretty good. It's definitely for kids, but it's beautiful. It's really well done. I'm very impressed by the puppet work. And it fits really well in the universe that he had already created for the first movie. Um, so I'm only 2 episodes in, but so far it's really really good, and I'm much more impressed than I thought I'd be. So yeah, Dark Crystal. I think it's called Age of Resistance.
Nice. I'll
Yeah.
have to check that out. I think I saw a post on your Facebook about that a couple days ago or
Probably.
yesterday. I don't know. The last 4 days have been such a blur, but yeah, I know I've seen it recently on the Cartoon
Yeah.
Joe Facebook.
hmm
That's anyone can become a fan of.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the first episode made me think, is this just another retelling of The Ant and the Grasshopper?
Yeah.
You know, the old, the small thing works hard, the
Yeah.
big thing doesn't, then the big thing steals from the small thing. Anyway.
That's what your post was about. I remember that now. Yeah,
Yep.
it was
Yep.
definitely your Cartoon Joe post.
So, and I do think that's what it's going to end up being, but it's they're adding some twists. I kind of like it. So, anyway, what about you? What are you freaking thinking?
Shaw, Sister Sherry got me hooked on the Arrow.
Ooh,
So I've been binge watching that on Netflix for like the last week.
nice.
It is really fucking good.
It is really good.
Um, Dizzle J from the Just Figure Wrestling podcast, he told me that it's really good up until about the fourth season and it kind of falls off. So I'm kind of nervous about getting past the fourth season. I believe I'm in season 3 right now because I really don't know what episode I'm on. I just keep letting it play.
Mm-hmm.
So you've seen it, right?
I think I not because it got bad or anything, but I think I stopped watching around season 4 or season 5.
Gotcha.
We moved to Connecticut and didn't have good internet, so I kind of stopped watching.
I got you. Yeah, I'm at the whole Deathstroke section of it. So I believe it's season 3, but it's really good. I'm having a joy watching it. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been hooked on that. I'm probably gonna watch it up until I get caught up or whatever it is. Is it still on TV?
I honestly don't know.
Gotcha. Well, I'm gonna keep watching it. But it kind of helped me realize that I think somewhere down the line as well, we're gonna do another episode of DC versus Marvel.
Sweet.
Because I know we did it before. I think we're gonna do it again, just because it was fun doing it and see if any of our opinions change and everything. I do believe watching it though. I do believe Hawkeye could beat Arrow. So,
Yeah,
um,
probably.
but I think it's definitely a cool show. If you guys haven't checked it out, make sure you do. If you haven't checked out yet the merchandise here for this freaking show, make sure you go to tpublic.com and search TFS to get your merch, like a Cartoon Joe T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey Joe.
Yes.
Every week, our listeners can catch Cartoon Joe here on this freaking show. But if one episode of Cartoon Joe just isn't enough and they want to find another show of Cartoon Joe, where can they go?
If you need more Cartoon Joe, you can head on over to the Geekcast Live podcast at gcl.ninja. You can also find us on Facebook, iTunes, Google Play, and Twitter by searching Geekcast Live.
Nice. Guys, make sure you follow us on social media at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at This Freaking Show. And make sure you give us the Ask Us Anything. Leave us a question on the pin post on our Facebook page. Just be a part of it. It's a lot of fun. I think you'll enjoy it. Let your friends know about our show, and they can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, just by searching This Freaking Show. If you listen to us on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating and a review. It really helps out the show and boosts us up in the rankings, if you will. Make sure you go to tpublic.com, search TFS, get all your merchandise for This Freaking Show logos, as well as a Cartoon Joe t-shirt that is available right now at tpublic.com. Thanks again to Audible and WeAreAdvertised.com. Make sure you check out our awesome sponsors and everything and help them out, which also helps us out as well. And again, if you are looking to help out with the Hurricane Dorian relief and everything, Joe is going to help me with a link to a great foundation or charity or whatever that you guys could donate to, and we'll put that in the show notes as well. And that's all I got. So as always, I am Travesty.
And I'm Cartoon Joe.
And thank you for listening to another episode of This Freaking Show. I'm out.